Rock and Urban.
Apparently was taking a nap, and she woke up and was checking her tweets. And her sister had apparently contacted her and telling her, you should probably look at the news right now because they're saying that you and your husband are getting divorced. And she checked it out, and before she knew it, yep, it was right. And they're getting divorced. And apparently he was in the next room when she found out. And so he didn't even have the audacity to walk into the next room like, hey, we're going to get a divorce. He does it over Twitter. So, wow. That's all I can say. Like, what do you guys think?
You said
about
she was
that?
taking a nap?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I don't really watch this show. This is like probably the one reality show that I don't indulge in at all, so I don't really know too much. All I know is I feel that these people are extremely pathetic every time I see the commercials. It's on Bravo, I think.
Yeah.
So I watch a lot of Bravo shows, but not that one. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I just don't understand how these people get famous. I don't know any of them, so.
I've watched a couple of them. I'm not too knowledgeable about it, but I do know that the Atlanta ones are pretty crazy, and they're all up in each other's business all the time, and they're very, very, very dramatic.
Is it after like the Desperate Housewives? Is that? But it's the Real Housewives. See, I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be after. I don't know.
Basically, just like a look into their lives,
right?
And just like the drama that happens within. That's the concept.
So pretty much looking at rich people and seeing how much drama that they really go through.
Like the Kardashians, it's like the same concepts.
Yeah.
But these people, I feel, are just, it's nonstop.
Yeah. But I think the entire thing is like, okay.
Rude.
They're also living together.
Yeah.
So the fact that they haven't been talking to each other, obviously, but the fact that you couldn't even walk over to the next room and say, hey, like, I don't think this is working, let's get divorced. You had to do it over Twitter?
Yeah.
And, like, I think that is just, I mean, that's just sad. That's like getting back into high school. Like, that's really pathetic.
Really, really pathetic. All right, moving on. Big topic now is how Reese Witherspoon and her husband were arrested recently. And I just think this is so ironic because whenever I think of Reese Witherspoon, I think of like a totally just like little scared actress that doesn't do anything wrong. But they were pulled over by a cop, and supposedly her husband was arrested for a DUI, and so was Reese Witherspoon for obstructing an officer. And what I think is so funny about this story is like what she said, because I've never heard her act like this. Like, do you know my name? You're about to find out who I am. I just don't see that coming out of her. She just seems too innocent and too nice to kind of do that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I just think it's so funny. But yeah, I guess she's like totally embarrassed, which I would be too. But what do you guys think about that?
I was actually really shocked when I found this out. Like, at first I thought it was just her husband who got a DUI. To see her, it was really shocking because, you know, she doesn't come off as that type of person. She seems very sweet and down to earth and someone that wouldn't do something that stupid. But, you know, she did release a statement saying that she does apologize and that she did have one too many drinks and that, you know, obviously she was drunk when she said all that stuff. She didn't really mean it. But I think in general it was definitely a big shocker and kind of disappointing because I feel like
I totally
she
agree.
is so high up there that it was sad to see her kind of get that low.
I could think of like a million other actresses before her that I would choose that I think it would happen to.
Well, she did feel so embarrassed that she actually canceled like a bunch of her appearances. She was supposed to be on with like Jimmy Fallon and a couple others, and she just canceled them. She was so embarrassed because I think it was today or yesterday they actually released the footage that was in the parking ramp where it happened and showed like what was going on. And it wasn't like drastic. It's just like as the officer was trying to talk to her husband, she kept coming in and out of the car and trying to just talk to him and interfere and try to get her husband out of the ticket. And so then she actually got arrested as well.
Which anyone would probably do in that time. So
right,
yeah.
and she was under the influence.
Right, so definitely.
Many crazy things happen under the influence.
Yes, for sure.
Moving on though, Ben Affleck has signed up to take the Live Below the Line challenge next week. He has to survive by only using $1.50 a day, and he's doing this to raise awareness for the Global Poverty Project, which is trying to take action to end extreme poverty. I think this is really cool because someone who makes like millions of dollars now has to survive only off of $1.50 a day, and that's food, everything. So I wonder I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, Ben Affleck has always been really popular with, giving back and doing all these charity stuff. I think it's a cool way to, see how other people have to live, but at the same time, he does get to go home to a nice big mansion every night, and so I'm kind of skeptical about it, but I don't know. We'll see what's going on, but I don't know. I feel like maybe if he had another place he was going home to, but since he's going home to a huge mansion, obviously.
Yeah, and the question I have, is it for just him? Because you know how he has a wife and 2 kids. Is it just him living on $1?
Well, it's him and then a bunch of other celebrities are actually joining in. I don't remember their names, but they're going to do it together, and they didn't really go into detail saying if they're going to get their own place or whatnot first, but they're just trying to take it to the extreme and try to live how they live. But I understand the whole point of view where he gets to go home to his nice house, but maybe
it's still doing something to show, right? He's not going to sell his house.
Obviously, that's a huge difference to go from living with millions of dollars and getting everything you want to only going with $1.50 a day.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Okay, moving on. So, Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphrey are finally divorced. I actually have to say that I had forgotten because it's been such in the news of Kim Kardashian being with Kanye West and having his baby, and I've been thinking oh, she's pregnant, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden there's oh, their divorce is final. I completely forgot they were even going through a divorce. I had thought that they had finalized it before, but apparently not. And so, I think it's good that they finally did get a divorce. I think they should have never gotten married in the first place. But at the same time, the fact that she was dating Kanye West and is having his child, and they just now got the divorce finalized, kind of, her judgment is not the best, I would say.
I would too. I just don't think she's the marrying type. I just can't wait for her and Kanye West to get married and then 5 months later get divorced. I mean, it might be different because she's having a baby this time, but I doubt it.
Get divorced. I watched the show. Do you guys watch the show?
Sometimes. Not too much.
Okay, I'm really into it. So, not saying I know everything. But, just
you pretty much know
her and her opinions about Kanye and the things they've talked about. It actually sounds like she's more serious about this one, and I think being pregnant also shows that she's more serious because she did talk about wanting to be a mother in previous shows and saying that it's time for her to settle down. And she said she was looking for someone. So I actually think Kanye is going to be the winner with Kim.
And you think he's going to be faithful to her the whole entire time?
I don't know about Kanye then.
I'm worried about that a little bit.
I know that Kim's going to pull her weight in this relationship.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll talk about that later.
She has gained a couple pounds through this pregnancy.
Yeah, that's what we were getting.
Did you see the dress she was wearing to the one record? Oh, that was just not flattering.
Yeah. That was actually another story we can bring up now, is that there's been a lot of talk between being Kim Kardashian gaining too much weight and Kate Middleton not gaining enough weight. I personally feel that Kim has gained too much weight. There's only I think you're supposed to only gain maybe 5 pounds. So I feel like she has gained a lot of weight. I feel like she's kind of just I think it's more than 5, but not as much as she's at. Yeah. And then Kate Middleton, I personally think Kate Middleton looks healthy. Also, I mean, she is smaller, a lot smaller than Kim, and she has less curves, so obviously it's going to look a little more predominant. But I personally think she looks fine and she's healthy.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's just the 2 different body types. I think people aren't taking that into consideration.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, and everyone handles pregnancy differently, and I think that people are just finding another reason to trash her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to be made fun of when I'm turned into a balloon when I get pregnant. It's a girl. I just feel it's not okay to say anything mean.
Exactly.
Because look at Jessica Simpson as well.
And she's a curvy girl too, so I don't know. I think that's just how it is.
There's nothing wrong.
And I'm not against curvy girls at all. So I'm pro curvy girls.
Pro curvy girl.
Speaking of a non-curvy girl that Miley Cyrus is either back on the market or just not wearing her ring. I don't know what's going on with her and Liam. She was spotted again wearing almost absolutely nothing, not wearing her ring recently. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is it's supposedly on, but she's never wearing her ring, so I don't know what the deal is. What's their problem?
I checked back, and actually the ring is back on. But one of her close friends said that Miley and Liam had another argument before the weekend, and that's why the ring was off. But personally, they should just, I don't know. I think it's too much on and off. If you're happy with Liam, why aren't you wearing the ring? Yes, you have arguments. Every couple has an argument. So I understand that. But if you go to the extreme of taking off your ring all the time, there comes a point in a time where they need to discuss this and figure it out. And if he goes back in the market, I get first dibs.
No, I was totally going to say that. If you don't want them, there's plenty of girls out there that do. Let me tell you.
I'm not a Liam fan, but I'll take his brother, Chris.
Yeah.
I think he's gorgeous. But, yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like, you know, if you guys are having so many problems and it's on and off like this, you guys need to figure out something. Because, obviously, every couple has an argument. You know, if you don't have an argument, there's something wrong with the relationship. But I feel like they're having way too many arguments. And the fact that she feels the need to take her ring off, you know, I would think that if you're engaged and you're so excited to marry this person that you love, whether or not you get in a fight or not, you would leave the ring on. So
just makes them look bad too, because everyone's talking about it. Like, find a different way to handle your arguments. Don't make it everyone else's problem. So like, we're sitting here, oh, well, obviously she's crazy. And blah, blah, blah.
Right. And camera, I know that like everyone's out looking. Every time they see Miley, they're trying to see if she has a ring or not.
Right. And exactly.
Just all they look for.
If you want to be stupid, then be stupid. I guess. I don't know.
Perfect.
What do we have next?
Well, do you guys know who Ryan Lochte is?
Yes.
All right, perfect. He's a babe as well.
Don't agree.
He's an Olympian champion, has 5 gold, 3 silver, and 3 bronze medals. And he actually wants to have his own apparel and accessory line now. He owns 150 pairs of shoes himself, and this guy is only 28 years old. I think he might have a future. I don't know. He seems pretty stylish. He's upbeat in the world, and it all started with a pair of shoes.
Doesn't he have his own show now too?
Yes. Yeah, it looks like it might be okay. It's kind of weird considering he's an Olympian champion. It's like, oh hey, look at my life. Like, his family looks cool and everything, but I don't know if it's gonna be.
It's gonna help or hurt his career. That's what I'm kind of wondering.
The show kind of looks like the way that it's making him view is he's just like a bachelor who just is going crazy right now and not really looking at his swimming career. And so, you know, it's interesting to see what comes about that and if he'll still have as many fans after kind of being this crazy partier he seems to be coming off in the commercials. That's
all I've seen from it. I don't really know him that well, but like, I know him as just a swimmer.
Oh, he's my best friend.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all I was worried about. And I mean, it's good for him if he can do other things outside of that, like getting, I just feel like they're giving anybody a TV show. I feel like if I went up to E! Network right now and said, hey, I do this, blah, 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 you're going to give me a TV show. It's just, where do you draw the line?
Well, I think that Ryan's actually, like, he did very well in the Olympics this last year, but I think he's actually looking out more far into the future to see what he has down the line, because you can't be an Olympian champion.
Yeah, you can only do it for so long, right?
Right. There's only so many times you can come out on top to the point where it's enough.
Right.
So I think his family looks interesting, though, and it would be an interesting show. I'm honestly going to check it out, so we'll see.
So, someone who else has also just announced that they're getting their own show is Kris Jenner, going back to the Kardashians. The mother is getting her own talk show that will be in the mornings. It starts airing on July 15th. Last thing we need is another Kardashian show. Her mom is just crazy. I don't see her as being a talk show host, personally. You know, you have the likes of, like, Ellen DeGeneres, like Oprah, and you know, people like that, and to see her to like have this, I think it's off because, you know, we've seen her so much in the, like, Keeping Up the Kardashians, and she's just kind of crazy, and so I just personally don't think it's gonna sit well. I feel like maybe she'll have, like, maybe lucky to have a season, but I feel like it'll be canceled quickly.
What do you think, Ashley?
Well, as a Kardashian fan, I hope she does well. I honestly, like, okay, I get the point where everyone's like, they were awarded money, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at what they actually do, they're go-getters. They have their own clothing line. They have their own show. They do their own makeup. They have all this stuff, and I just feel like they're entrepreneurs. So we'll come back, actually, with more Kardashian gossip after a look at these perfect pets.
Whitney, a 14-week-old female tiger mix cat. She's very energetic, loves to play, and will cuddle into your heart. Here's Sarina, a 1-year-old pit bull mix. She's very kind, gentle, and lives up to her name with her love of tennis. And meet Wendy, a 14-week-old tiger mix. She's very friendly, curious, affectionate, and is one active girl.
Find out more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
Again, that number is 781-4014. So we're starting back up. I know the last week was kind of a terrible week in the world with the Boston bombers and everything else. But there was kind of a slight mishap on one of the television stations, a local Fox station, when they were releasing the name of who the bomber was and who they were looking for, accidentally put on the screen they were looking for 19-year-old Zoe Deschanel as the bomber. One of the biggest mistakes you could possibly have and one of the most tragic events in our nation. And I don't know who did that, but I'm sure they either got fired or they just got a really bad scolding. But it's just one of those events that you just professionally you need to look at what you're writing, and I don't know if it was a joke or what, but
Did she say anything about it?
She hasn't made a comment about it, but the entire thing was it's funny.
How did it? That's just ridiculous.
But it's ridiculous.
How did it happen?
Yeah, I don't.
That's not even close to either of the guys' names that did it. So that's just really ironic.
So it's just one of those little events that we're just like, really, come on. So
be professional.
Yeah.
Coming from a news station, be professional.
Right. I don't even have words for that. That's just sign of disrespect.
Okay, going to more of a lighter note and back to our childhood a little bit. We gotta go back to some Backstreet Boys.
Woo!
Yeah. The Backstreet Boys got a star on the Hollywood, is it called the Walk of Stars? I don't know, I've been to it.
Walk of Fame.
Walk of Fame, and I've been to it. It's really cool. But Backstreet's back. All right. I don't know, do you guys, this is weird because I know that I could go buy a star if I wanted for $30,000. I don't have to be famous at all, which I would not deserve one, but I just think it's really cool that anyone can get one if you have the money for it. But do you think the Backstreet Boys deserve a star?
I definitely think they deserve a star. I grew up, I was born in '88, I was a 90s child. I lived and breathed boy bands, I was all about NSYNC. I loved Backstreet Boys. I loved O-Town, like all those groups. I love them, and I think they definitely deserve, a star and all their hard work. That was a generation that I love and still miss at this day, and still, every once in a while, it's so good to hear one of their songs on the radio. So I definitely think that they deserved a star.
I think they deserved it. They sold over 130 million albums worldwide during their career, and I feel like that's a huge accomplishment. Not every artist can say to have, so I believe they did deserve it. I love Backstreet Boys. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and speaking of the Backstreet Boys, they have announced that they are going on tour this summer with New Kids on the Block and Boyz II Men. So you probably should check out those tickets because it will be a great concert.
That would be a good concert.
Nick, I used to love Nick as a little girl. I was telling he was the hottie of the bunch.
I was more of an NSYNC girl, but do they have a star? I don't think they have a star, so that's a big deal. If Backstreet Boys got a star before they did.
I think it's kind of ridiculous though that anyone can buy a star.
I know.
I feel like I read they have 1,000 something different stars out there, like 1,500 stars. Okay, that's understandable, but I feel like you should earn a star if you're going to be on the Walk of Fame.
Right, because I'll be walking on it one day. Who the heck is this person? I don't even know.
Right, like what did they accomplish?
Absolutely nothing.
It should be a symbol of Hollywood.
$30,000. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay. Go ahead, Ashley.
Well, I want to go back to the Kardashians because we got cut off here now. So I just want to talk a little bit more about Kim's pregnancy because she doesn't want to release the sex of her baby to the public, and I feel like it's a huge deal for Kim to keep a secret.
That's true.
Their plan, Kanye and Kim's plan, is to buy all white clothing, and I quote, "Or we'll go and buy both girls and boys clothing, and then no one will know." I feel like they're going a little bit to the extreme.
So she knows.
But, yeah, they know, but they just don't want paparazzi to know.
Yeah, I think that can be kind of extreme, but I feel like at the same time, you know, knowing the paparazzi, they're going to figure it out, and knowing Kim, it's probably going to slip, so you might as well just tell everybody what you're having.
Well, she looks like she's having twins, so maybe she's having twins.
Maybe one of each.
Yeah.
Why would she buy boys and girls clothing? That's
Why would you buy white? Okay, seriously, the last thing I would think you would want to buy is white for a baby. Honestly, like,
I think
it's
that's
not
kind of a girl color.
Every day is going to be his baptism.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I don't know. I mean, but her sisters, Chloe and Courtney, one of them I feel like is going to slip if Kim doesn't say something.
Yeah.
I wish Chloe was having a baby over her, to be honest.
Chloe is, though. She has a surrogate, so they're just planning it all out. Because she physically can't, but they're paying over her head.
So we did get to that conclusion that she cannot have babies.
No, she can't. She's not fertile.
Okay. I knew there was a big problem with that.
Yes.
Okay. Now we got that solved on Afternoon Delight today.
Don't worry. I can catch you up on any card.
The world can come to an end because we know everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of going back on the disaster of last week, we've found that there has been a lot of acts of kindness that have actually come out of this. One of the ones that I actually want to do a shout out to was the police officer John Bradley. He was actually the officer who went out of his way, bought 2 gallons of milk, and actually delivered them himself to a family who had a 17-month-old son. And they had run out of milk, but they couldn't go anywhere because Boston was completely locked down. And I thought that was so cool that he would go out of his way just to do something and help a family out when, you know, our entire nation was in shock and awe right now. And one of the cool things that I found out is that they said that when he delivered the milk, they actually asked him how much it was. They were going to try to pay him. And he would not actually take any money at all. And I think that was really cool of him that he would, go out of his way when everything is your entire world is upside down, and to deliver to a family who has a 17-month-old son, I think is absolutely gracious. And I applaud you and the rest of the Boston police and the police everywhere, especially the ones on campus that we had our little scare with. So I think that's awesome.
Very much. It's very cool. It's just nice to know that there's one thing good out of all that bad. So
there are good people out there.
Yes.
There are very bad people out there, but we gotta...
We may have a lot of idiots, but there are some
before we get to our next story, we're going to take a look at our UWL promo.
Fact: University of Wisconsin-La Crosse is ranked the #2 college in the Midwest.
UW-La Crosse is ranked number 34 for out-of-state students among public universities nationwide.
UW-La Crosse is ranked as one of the most military-friendly schools in the nation.
UW-La Crosse is number 24 among medium colleges and universities for Peace Corps volunteers.
Stories. I have a very kind of a weird story to kind of get away from the celebrity gossip a little bit. A teen from Vero Beach, Florida, called the police on his mom for annoying him. Now, this is very strange because if this was a law, I would have called the police since I was 5 years old every day. Because my mom annoys me every single second I talk to her, pretty much. But he called the police twice on Thursday because he didn't like the way his mom was talking to him. And I guess the police had to come and arrest him because he would not leave the police alone about this. He was sentenced to jail for abuse of a 911 call, and he was let out on a $500 bond. What do you guys think about this? Is this not like crazy?
It is crazy, and I think he deserved it. Quite honestly, I've heard stories where people have called 911 and it wasn't an emergency. Obviously, don't call it unless it is an emergency. Like, that's just plain common sense, and that's so stupid. And I can tell you, you know, being a teenager and being a kid, you know, I was annoyed by my parents all the time. Like, honestly, like, they made me mad, you know, upset. I wanted to run away, blah, blah, blah. But just because your mom is annoying you, go to your freaking room. Like, don't, like, call the police. They're not going to do anything except get you even more trouble. So honestly,
yeah, they gave some more examples of, like, a woman called the police to have cigarettes delivered to her house, and a little boy in Massachusetts dialed 911 to report his mom because he didn't want to go to bed and she was telling him to. I mean, these people call for, like, the stupidest reasons.
Hold the phone for a second. I am one of those stupid people that when I was younger, I did call the police, 911. And you know the joke, or from How the Grinch Stole Christmas, where he called and was like, is your refrigerator running? Hi, you better go catch it. Yeah, I called the police, called 911.
Did you get it from that movie?
Used that joke, yes. Used that joke and told them my dad was sleeping and I was afraid he wasn't going to wake up. And then we just kept calling and hanging up because that's the only number I knew. I wanted to talk to somebody on the phone. That's the only number I knew. And
but how old were you?
I don't even know, like 5.
Okay, this guy was 19. Let's get real here.
I don't know.
You know what?
Still.
Come on.
All right, I'm classified.
It's so really
There's
funny.
a difference between being 5 and not knowing what you're doing, and 19.
Well, I think he was drunk, so that's okay, right?
No,
that
that's not.
everything.
That's not okay.
The influence. I mean, look at Reese Witherspoon went off when she was under the influence. This guy was under the influence as well. Things happen. It's crazy.
It all happens. It's just crazy. All right, you can go.
All right, well, Jennifer Lawrence, Justin Timberlake, and Lena Dunham have made the Times 100 most influential people list. Do you guys think they deserve to be on there?
I love Jennifer Lawrence. I'm one of the biggest fans of hers, and I think she's an amazing actress. So I definitely think that she deserves to be up there because, you know, you can just look through her interviews. She's so down to earth. She knows who she is. She hasn't forgotten her roots. You know, she's just one of those actresses you know that you could approach and she just be cool with it. I think she's a great person. Lena Dunham, she's only been on Girls and the HBO show. I think it's kind of ridiculous. I don't see the point of her being on it. Like, she hasn't really done anything for me. And Justin Timberlake, I can see how he's very influential. Like, he's funny. He's, you know, he's always on Saturday Night Live. He does great CDs. Being influential, though, I'm not really sure.
I totally agree with the whole Jennifer Lawrence thing. I mean, she just kind of came into the scene well, I guess the Hunger Games was like the big push. Yeah. But I like her because I feel like every interview I read from her, it's about her just not really giving
a crap
about what anyone says. Like, they really, like, I'm considered obese in the Hollywood world, which is just crazy to me because I think she has a great body. I think she's hot. Smoking for a girl. Justin Timberlake, I mean, he's been around forever. We were just talking about him. I mean, he's been there since our childhood. You can't really say he's not an influential person.
I think he's influential.
The other girl, I don't know. I don't even know who she is. So.
Honestly, but like Justin Bieber apparently is on this list.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Okay, serious. Okay, straight up right now. Justin Bieber should never be on an influential list or any list unless you're talking about one of the worst singers in the world.
He influences little girls' dreams.
No, he doesn't know.
He makes them creepy. That's what he
thinks. He's all that, and he's not. I think this list needs to be more focused on. It has been having so many celebrities, and I feel like this list needs to go back to be focusing on our presidents, senators, you know, people who.
That might be a little boring.
Haha, thanks. We need crazy people.
Not crazy people.
I mean, like, you need somebody
I'd be, like, yawning at the list. If it was, like, senators, like...
Right, like, I don't even know who they are.
But I mean, somebody, like, who actually influences, like,
They don't influence me. I hate politicians.
Justin Bieber, he's, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate Justin Bieber. He's a little girl. But, like, he obviously is a huge part. Everyone everywhere knows who Justin Bieber is. He is one of, like, on Twitter.
Yeah, my parents know who he is.
The top 3 people who have the most followers. I
agree.
don't like him.
Just because he has crazy fans.
But he's good. He's good at what he does, and he makes people love him.
And then last story, we're going to try to hurry this up. A guy said that he has been holding a burger that he's had for 14 years. He first put it in his pocket in 1999, and I think it's really gross, and it's
a
allegedly
lie.
So we'll see what happens, but that's all we have for the show on Afternoon Delight. Check us out on Thursday when we have our news, so I hope you guys enjoy the show and come back.